there! Welcome back to my makeup table. Today I want to really focus in on foundation. I always call foundation the foundation of beauty. It really is so important to a successful makeup application, especially when you want your face to look very smooth and creamy, but not overdo it. We never want to look cakey or too powdery. So there are a couple of ways that we can get there. My perfect ideal skin is one that looks dewy, but very blemish free, very tonally all one color, the center of the face, with the shadows and the bronziness around the perimeter. Now, I've often said in some of my tutorials, I personally like a little bit more of a blush on the apple of the cheek because I think it is a youthful look. And that is color, though. That's not something that we do with foundation. Interesting to take a peek at where our skin tones are from winter into summer. So, for example, this being my lightest shade of foundation for the year, and this being my darkest when I used to tan. I don't tan anymore, but when I used to tan. So this being the light and this being the dark, you can really see the difference. What we have to learn how to do is how to blend them. There's two ways we can do this. We can blend on the face by the placement of light to dark, or we can blend on the top of our hand, which oftentimes I really like to do. So to get started, I wanted to show you a trick also. Oftentimes when we wake up in the morning and we look at our eyes, we can actually have a little hang here, especially as we age. What is that? Well, those of you who have been using Botox for many, many years are not experiencing this. However, those of us who do not use Botox on a regular basis can see that our face starts to fall, swell. Different things will add a different shape to the eye. So what I suggest is if you wake up in the morning and you look like you've got a little bit of bag here, which I am looking like today, I'll show you a little trick. Before I put foundation on, I just give myself a little massage against these muscles, which we have a tendency to tense and move so much when we're thinking and concentrating. You see how the brow is lifting? You're pushing that muscle back up into its normal position. And you can see I've already gotten a lift to the eye. Do you see that? Is that amazing? My first foundation application is going to be with my lightest color. So this is going to be a tutorial on how we're going to blend with a little bit of contouring. Sometimes I like to put it on the back of my hand. So we're going to start by putting our foundation, lightest color, through our T-zone. We're going to blend outward, making sure that we get this spot right here. And the roundness of the chin. So you notice it's just one line all the way down. Now we're going to go back in and we're going to place a little here and here. This is going to give the lightness to the center of the face. Notice I'm doing almost everything with my fingers. I happen to love fingers on my own face, and sometimes I will go in with a sponge, but I really like the warmth of my fingers and I like to be able to feel the skin. Now, the way that I'm placing this is obviously after I've already done concealer. So this tutorial is not about concealer. It is about foundation. Now, another little nice trick to do, especially as our skin is changing colors through the year, is to bring a little bit down on the apple of the Adam's apple, mainly because this area very rarely sees the sun, even if you're tanning, which I hope you're not tanning. But even if you are tanning, this area never, ever, ever matches the face. So I always like to put a little bit and then I blend it. Even on young girls I do this, on young models, because this little area happens to be very virginal. From the sun, I mean. So I'm going to go back in, and what I do like to do is focus right above the eyebrows with a little bit of the foundation too. Make sure that you don't have a line of product. And then, as I've spoken about so many times in my tutorials, we're just going to knock off that excess with a foundation brush. And that's it. So the next step I'm going to be doing, now that we've got the lightness of being through the center of our face, I'm going to be going back in with a medium tone. It's not the darkest that I own, but it is certainly on the darker side of medium. I'm going to put a little bit of that on my hand, finger. I'm going to take this dark color and I'm going to apply it at my temple. Since this is where you really do want your sun-kissed look, is the perimeter of the face, and I'm also going to place a little under the cheekbone. And a little bit of a half moon shape here. Leaving out the top of this bone. So we're just doing it in this fashion, under the cheekbone. So we're starting to deliver a little bit of that sun-kissed look. We're doing dark around the perimeter and a half moon, and we're going to keep this all nice and light. So your next step is going to be to take a powder. It can be a powder that has coverage, which I actually like to use a powder that has coverage. It's called a dual finish powder. In other words, it's a powder, but it has a lot of concealing capabilities. And I'm going to take my powder and powder down exactly what I've just done with the light. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a darker brown, and I'm just going to now start brushing that over the area that we just did the darker foundation. So this acts as a little bit of a contouring powder, but it's not quite as dark as a contouring powder. Now remember, because we've placed a cream foundation here and here, when you go to powder with a darker powder, it is going to grab darker. So make sure that you choose the right color and that it's not too brown. We don't want orange faces. We don't want to look like Oompa Loompas. We want to look sun-kissed. So this is a good opportunity now to take your blush brush and squeeze it tight so that you're getting it into a line. And just go down the sides of the nose, up into the eyebrow for a little extra contouring. I have seen people teach you how to put makeup on like a drag queen. So all of this area is super concealed in a V down to here, and then the contour powder goes here, and the highlighter powder goes here, and then all of this is filled in with concealers. That's too much makeup for us to be wearing every day. That's great for film, looks beautiful on film, but it's really, really too much makeup for an everyday application. You don't want to look like a drag queen. I mean, some of the techniques are kind of cool, especially for the shading, especially to raise the crease of the eye or something, but these are techniques that really only look good on stage. Just a product that I was going to review on my tutorial where I got my Big Lots haul. It is a bronzer. It's by CoverGirl, and it comes with this really nice kabuki brush, which is very, very, very fluffy and thick. I'm going to try it today with the brush and see what the performance is like. So what you want to do is just give it a shake to get some of the product up into the lid. So I did get some product up there. And I'm going to take my brush. Now here's the tricky part. You want to kind of dab in here. I'm not a big fan of blowing it all over the place, around my room, it settles everywhere. So what I like to do is start up in the temple, because that's where we're going to be able to blend the best. And just place it there easily and lightly. Don't worry about it, because we're going to go back. Here again. You're just kind of rubbing it into that area. And now you want to go for the buff. The buffing down of our faces. If men could see what we go through, right? It's ridiculous. To look natural. To look sun-kissed. If they only knew. We do it for them. So I've got it on my brush, and now I'm going to turn my head and just tap it very lightly. It looks terrible right now, but we're going to go back to it. I want to evenly deposit that pigment so that I don't have too much on one side and not enough on the other side. So I'm liking my sun-kissed look so far. This is with no color on the face. This is all just blended foundations and blended powders. That's all that I've got on right now. So now that we've got the perimeters of the face and the chin nicely warmed up with a bronze tone, I'm going to go back in and show you how to do the apple of your cheek. This is a used and abused MAC palette that I've just had in my kit forever, and it's all of my tried and true colors, but unfortunately you drop it on set, you do all kinds of crazy things, and so it looks like hell because it's been to hell, but I love you. You've been loyal to me. Anyway, I'm going to take like an orangey shade. It's kind of got a lot of brown in it as well, so I think it'll go nicely with this bronzy look. And I'm going to place that right in the apple of my cheek. If you are unsure of the apple of your cheek, there it is. Just give it a little smile. When you place the blush into the apple of your cheek and across your nose, a little bit on your chin, and a little bit right here, you start to see more of a sun-kissed glow, a tonality to the face. Not seeing a huge line here because we did put light here, but we're not seeing a lot of difference in the cheek area from here to here because we blend with makeup. So this is a way that you can take your foundations, whatever color they might be, and you can mix them with all the other colors that you've purchased throughout the year. Some days I want a little bit of a sun-kissed look. Some days I want more of a porcelain look. Add a lot of the color with a bronzing powder. You want the bronzing powder to have a little bit of luminescence to it, a little bit of sparkle and shine, because that's going to really give you that bronzy look. I'm just going to take it and dust it across my eye. I like that. That's a really pretty color. I'm really into this. This is a nice golden, but not too gold. It doesn't have a lot of orange in it. I'm going to show you the color. Is that nice? It's very, very pretty. So there you have it. This is a quick tutorial on just what to do with your foundation, and we're going to be covering some of the differences of foundation and finishing powders, setting powders versus foundation powders. I happen to love dual finish powders. MAC makes a lot of those, and we're going to be learning about those in a future tutorial. Now with my new super sun goddess bronze look and get some attention. Have a good day. Bye-bye.